Join us every week for coaching and Q&A. You'll learn how to get more listings signed and sold following the simple and fun easy listing method. Plus, find hidden gem tips and get motivated as you surround yourself with like-minded peers in this weekly mastermind. Let's jump in.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Monday training. We are deviating off of mail merge. So all of those of you who did not show up because we were doing that, you're now going to have to listen, and we're not going to have any input with you. So I'm a little disappointed that you didn't show up, and I'm going to cancel the mail merge program. But anyways, we are going to talk about, we are giving leads out now to agents, and I don't think they're understanding what the lead is. So we are going to go over, is there anybody on this call that doesn't know that we are selling 4 separate programs? Bonnie, you don't? You're muted.
I don't.
Okay, is there anybody else?
I don't either.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually just show you guys. But so Adam, would you mind on the first part of this, tell them what you do when you get a lead and an intake, and you guys are doing the intake for it? Would you give them the process on that part, and then I'll take care of it from it? Because I know you got to leave at 1:30. What your team's doing on that?
Yep. So basically, lead comes in, lead is called, qualified, asked various questions, confirming property condition, various levels of motivation, and timeline for selling. Just really figuring out what the full scope of this seller is. What the full scope of this house is, what their full level of expectation is, what basically what this whole thing looks like, figuring out what the win-win prices are, etc. Finding out if there's any tenants, how much money's owed, etc. The whole deal, right? We're first trying to figure out which box does this seller fit in. Are they going to fit a investment profile, right? Meaning, does this house qualify as a, just for a cash offer because it's in really bad condition, or is this house in pristine condition and they were just looking for the speed and inconvenience of a cash offer because they were just looking to be done with it, right? So where along that process are they? Where along is this house? So, for all intents and purposes, it's the job of, what an ISA would do, we're doing on the front end of things. And then, once that lead, would reach my desk, doing a quick underwriting of the information, plus then starting to do a bulk underwriting on the property to see what meshes, what, where does this property work? We're telling the seller that we'll be back to them in touch with, within 4 to 8 business hours from that first conversation. And then I or someone from my team is right in touch with that seller, and we make that offer to them. If they accept the cash offer, that's one of the options. We will close on their property within 7 to 30 days or whatever they decide to choose. We'll make time to obviously go out there and see the property, etc., send them a contract. That part of it's done. If they go the Novation route, we will make time for, to get our agent out there, which would be one of you guys, would come out, go see the property, get that property ready for listing, see what improvements need to be made to the property before it gets listed live, get the property staged if necessary, and then get it listed live on the platform. The other option would be, and that would, again, I don't want to, beat a dead horse. A cash offer would typically be somewhere 70% or less of what the market would bear minus the cost to repair the house. The Novation would typically be if somewhere between 70 to 80, maybe a slightly higher depending on the market, would be, minus the repairs will be the Novation offer. The next option would be an easy investor, an easy listing referral, basically with the agent, with the investor involvement. And that would be where we have a 10% buyer's premium. And this is where it doesn't quite work they're looking for the ease and convenience of that cash offer. Their house is in, I would say it's 95% good, right? It's 95% retail ready. They don't want to put any money into it, but whether it's equity for reasons of equity or their expectations, etc., they want something done quickly and they don't want to give up everything, but they're willing to give up something. They're not looking for top of the market, but they're looking for, let's say 87 to, 92% of the ARV on their house. And, as investors, we really come across a lot of these type of leads. And as a marketer, as an investor, as a salesperson, those were always the most frustrating type of leads for me because there was no way to monetize them before I met this platform. And this has become a huge part of my business and become a huge win-win for me, my sellers, and both buyers and sellers agents and the platform. Because we have done a tremendous amount of business this way. The seller is extremely happy because they're really hands-off in this process besides opening their door and keeping the house clean. The agent is happy because they didn't spend money marketing the property. The platform's happy because it's more deals for them. And it's good for everybody. And absent that, if you run into situations where someone wants full retail, well, then the investor passes the lead on to the agent. In that scenario, the agent would put a 25% referral fee back to the company for the agent to partake, for the investor to partake in. And, that makes the world go around for everybody, as everybody knows, and money can go back into their pocket to bring more opportunities as this marketing is pretty expensive.
So does everybody get what Adam's team's doing on the intake form? We have been giving out leads, and I am, as the evil Uncle Robert says, I'm getting the dumbest replies back from our agents and don't know what they're doing with them. And I don't know how many more times to keep going over this stuff and keep going over this stuff, keep going over this stuff. But I want to make sure you guys, and these are I'm talking about our personal leads, the amount, what Adam is saying, okay, we're spending a lot of money on the marketing, spending money, having the people, they're doing a great job on the intake forms. That intake form that Adam talked about, a seller, when he or she is filling that out with the intake, it's a half hour to 45 minutes. It's not just, okay, are you trying to sell your house? Which are investors that are struggling, what they're doing is that they are hearing, oh, you want to sell your house? How much you want? Okay, I'll send out a contract to you. And you understand that's not what we're doing here. And when we start putting the investors through our training program, they won't be doing that either. You're not going to walk into situations. Bonnie, you want to explain the one house that had the 3 refrigerators and?
You say Bonnie?
Yeah, didn't you have the 3 refrigerators that smelled really bad? You couldn't even sit in the house on the open house.
Oh yeah.
So can you tell us what happened on that? Or just go through, like, when you got there, this investor thought the home was clean, it was ready to go, it was ready to list, and we sent the lead over to you. And what'd you walk into?
Bunch of crap. The house, there's 11 people that lived in the house, a man and 5 women, and the rest kids, and 2 dogs and a cat. The house was so cluttered, the only places you could really walk was where I went into the kitchen, because they had remodeled the kitchen. The kitchen was very nice. The rest of the house was awful. They had stuff everywhere. It smelled so bad. You couldn't hardly stand in the house. And so I've talked to them, went through everything with them, and I took pictures. I went through and took pictures because I asked him, I said, did you send pictures to this investor? He said, yeah. And well, the investor said that the pictures he sent him just took pictures of the floor. Didn't take pictures of everything that was in the house and the problems that were in the house. So I went through the house, couldn't even get in the garage because the garage was so packed. You couldn't even take pictures in there. But I mean, it was packed full to the ceiling almost in every room. I mean, and needed lots of repairs. The ductwork in the house needs to be replaced because it's mold in there and it's so nasty from all, because they all smoke in the house. They all smoke on top of the dogs and the cats too. So that was even worse. And so they had, in some of the pictures, I didn't even realize it when I sent them to him. They had fire trap things hanging down from the ceilings in the great room and in the bathroom. And I didn't pay attention when I was taking the pictures. I just was taking them as quick as I could to get out of there. So it was hilarious. But I feel sorry for the guy because I finally told him the other day, I said, listen, Robert Raymond, you got to think about yourself and your girlfriend. I said, and all her kids and grandkids, they need to move to their own place and live. And so you can get out of here and stuff and get it sold. But it was awful. And when I sent the pictures to the investor said, oh my God, I thought he said that it was all up to date and everything. I said, no, it's not up to date. Nothing in that house. It needs to be, it's probably about $50,000 worth of updates that need to be done in that house. And he wanted it listed for 300,000. And I told him when I did the CMA on him, I said, this house, you're not going to get $350,000 for this house, or 300,000. I said, you'll be lucky if you get 285 for it. Well, I had an offer on it. Robert wanted to tell you, somebody called or sent an offer to me without going on the platform for 245. And I thought, that ain't going to work. That ain't going to happen. So that, yeah, it was bad.
Right?
And the day of the open house that we had, it took him a month to get the house halfway cleaned out. I mean, it was better than it was when I went there the first time, but it still was a mess. It still, and stunk so bad. The other agent and I and the lender, we had to keep going outside because we couldn't stand the smell in the house. I bought a can of Lysol, a big can of Lysol, and I almost used that whole can of Lysol going through the house every time I turned around when nobody was there, spraying the house because that's how bad it smelled. It was awful. And I'm going to kill Robert for it.
Did that investor even see
hang
the
on, Brett.
property?
Brett,
Do what?
Did that investor even see the
Hang
property?
on.
No, he has never seen the property. Never.
I'll answer this, Bonnie, because otherwise we're not going to even get done with what I want to do. So that's why we came out with this investor program, that we are going to start doing a turnkey investment program and put these guys through. Not the investors aren't validating what they're getting. They're not getting good comps from agents or wherever they're getting their comps, and they're not validating the condition of the property. And it's not just this investor's name was Matthew something or another. It's not just him. The other investors that have been putting stuff on the platform, they are all doing the same thing because they're all coming from the same school. And remember, what do? If we want you to go see the house, like Adam says, how much are we paying you to go see the house and take pictures and validate for us?
$200.
Okay. And any investor that joins our program, if they want you to go out and validate and do a little better CMA by seeing the location, they'll be doing the same thing. We have run into these problems ad nauseum, and it's exactly why we want to come back into and get people into our. Zarina is learning our system as we go, and she's implementing the stuff, and so it's turning into a win-win situation with her, and she's kind of like our stuff. So that's where we're going, and so that's why that this is important because now we're giving out leads, and I'm going to go through. Adam went through it in highlighting it. Now we're going to go back through what we are putting the investors through, and it's also something we've already done with you guys a couple times, but we're going to review it and go back through it. Okay. Now we're going to talk about the 4 different processes, how we get them and how we manage them, and what responsibility is for you for each property. Does that make sense? So anyway, so we're going to go head back into this now. Let me go ahead and share the screen. Let's start talking about the 4 deals, and I'm going to stop after each deal. All right. And then I am also going to show you the seller intake, and then, so Adam, you can go ahead and take off. I know you got to go.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Adam. All right, so can everybody see the seller intake form?
Yes. I can see it, yes.
Okay, so this is when a lead comes in, then we've got a guy that reaches back out to him, and everybody knows Jeff, right? The guy with the radio voice cares about people. Anyway, he's got a team of people answering the phone or taking care of the phone calls in the intake forms, making a relationship with each seller. So these are the information that they are getting. So you can see owner of the property, is it lease, is that reason for selling, time owned, condition of property, number of bedrooms, and last kitchen remodel date, then kitchen countertops, back. So this is all, when we say that, remember, he is asking questions to validate everything that the seller is doing. And then what we do is we have the seller take pictures and send them in to us while we're going ahead and figuring out, we want to find out, what are they looking to do? Are they looking to do a cash sale, or they care more about how much money they're making? So we're getting all this information, and even the title stuff, we're getting a report. And then any final questions for us, or these are place to put comments and everything in. So does everybody understand that's what Jeff is doing and his team's doing on the intake?
Yes, yes.
Okay, very good.
So is that Jeff is you when you said Jeff is taking the intake, is that when a lead comes in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so Jeff gets the leads as well, and he's in charge of the intake department and the people that are working for him. And then he's got a few people. We're going to be growing that because of this program that we're doing. But we've got some really conscientious people that care about relationships. You guys remember, why do we do this for sellers?
We do it
So-
first of all to help someone, help people. Sellers are in desperate situations.
There you go. Right, everybody? Are we looking to gouge them as a company?
No,
We care about helping them get through their life and make the most amount of money and not lose money, right? Being that we care about them, that's why we have 4 different programs. Does anybody remember the our fix and flip in Mill Creek, Washington? We wanted to do a novation and pay the seller more money, right?
correct, I
And-
remember.
And remember, she's Brett helped me with real estate, not houses, buildings.
Commercial broker.
She's a commercial real estate broker, owns her own brokerage and owns her own stuff, has 10 attorneys. Because I think Adam talked to 5 of them. They didn't like the novation contract. So being that she didn't like the novation contract, she took $100,000 less from us. Remember, we bought it for $850. The novation contract that we had for was $950. The value of the home after we were going to put some money into it is 1.2. We 1.2, and I think as a community, we said 125 to 135, right? When we did the comps together last week.
Yes,
So being that she didn't like the novation contract, she took $100,000 less. But here's the cool thing is, we were trying to make her more money, right? And in my opinion, her attorneys gave bad advice. But she wanted out of it. She trusted us. She liked us. She sold it to us for $850.
and what
Okay.
was her thinking behind that? If she wanted more money, why would she sell it for less? She just wanted to get rid
Because
of it.
she wants to get rid of. They bought a home in Kansas City, Missouri, and she wants to get back with her husband and get going. She was
Okay,
having all the stuff moved out of the house on the 10th, and it's done. So we're just waiting now. We're doing our appraisals tomorrow, but always keep in mind when Adam and his team, when we call and we do the intake, it's always about what's best for the seller. How can we make you the most amount of money? And what else does that do when we do that and have that relationship with the seller? You remember the guy that came on about the interim financing?
right, exactly.
Going
Transactional.
A to B, B to C. Why do you think investors do that?
The transactional?
Yeah.
Well, I think that investors would do it because they want to make sure that they don't embarrass themselves by making substantially more money on the C side. And they
Very
don't
good.
want the A to see the transaction, how much money they made.
And keep in mind, when you guys go A to B, B to C, you're paying two sets of closing costs, right? On the first side, you're paying the buyer and the seller. On the second side, you're paying the seller side.
Right.
So it's costing you a small fortune to do that. When we disclose and we work the stuff out with the sellers and they kind of pick the program, we don't have to hide. This lady wants to see pictures of the home when we get it fixed up. And even though we're buying it from her, she loves the excitement of it and she wants to see what we did. But it was her choice to turn down that $100,000. So do I need to hide anything from her?
Nope. Nope.
And on the Novation side, would I need to hide anything from her? Because I'm telling her all the process and how it works. And on the
Nope.
10% side, so now let's go through each deal. But it's about serving the consumers and doing what's right for the public, right? It's been the company's motto for 10 years, and it's why you all are with us, because we care about the consumers. And the great thing about caring about the consumers is that we can make quite a bit of money too, right? All right.
The residual effect.
All right. So let's go ahead and let me share my first screen. So Zarina, this is actually going to be part of the training that we do with you. But it's always good to find out what we do. So, all right. So you remember, you guys, when we do the cash offer, target is $70,000, less investor fee, less repairs. Does everybody remember that?
Yes.
And we are cashing the home out, correct?
Yes.
All right. So, okay. So we are cashing the home out. Oh, on there. So we're using the 70% and then we cash it out and we go in and do the work and then we list it with you guys, right?
Correct.
Okay. When I list this home with you, Kenneth, what is your commission?
My commission on the home
Yep.
is 6%.
Well, 3.5, right? To you, 2.5 to the,
Oh, yeah, right.
because you're paying what? Why are we giving you the 3.5 versus the 2.5? Because you have a referral fee, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So everybody's up on snuff on that. So if we take a look at our sample on this one here, home's worth $400,000. By the time we take out the fees and the cost, we are offering them $261,600. That's what it ended up being, right? So everybody understands cash. We don't need to go over that anymore. And it goes. So then we go, choice number 2 is we have the Novation price. And really what we try to do is use an 80% rule. But what we're doing is we're partnering up with the homeowner, right? So I like to tell my people when they're talking to the people, we have this Novation, but it's really a partnership agreement just to make life simple for you. The contracts, not as complex, but this is what the contract's all about, is you're going to hold the title on the property still. You're going to keep making the payments, keep making HOA payments, keep paying for the electricity and da-da-da-da-da. And then generally the people that want to do the novations are people that don't have the money to fix the property up. Or they've just had enough of the property and they want out, they want to get away from it. There's so many ways that this novation can happen. And by the way, a lot of the investors will set up a novation contract so that they're making a spread and do very little work on the property. Because the sellers want out of the property that bad, so the investor can come in, make them a cash offer on the home, back it up with proof of funds, and get it in a contract. For those people that they do that with, they have to make sure that they're explaining to them why they do it and they understand what the position of the seller's in. Because most sellers are looking for distressed property sellers. And we look for both. We look for agents that we can just give you flat out straight listings with to do it. And we also are doing the distressed properties, like with this lady in Mill Creek. She wasn't distressed, she just wanted out of it, period. All right. So in the novation process, here's a home that's worth $400,000. Repairs, remember, were $10,000. So we're offering her 320 minus 10,000. We're going to offer her 310,000 instead of what were we offering her on the last one?
For
So
400.
offer number one, the cash offer, we were offering her 261.6. Right?
Okay.
With the novation, now we're offering her 310. Okay? So when you guys list the home, and I have a contract for $310,000, all right, what is the buyer's premium that we're going to be using? And what is the listing price going to be?
10% and 310.
310. And that way, if I get one offer on the deal, we have a deal, right?
Right.
Now, what happens if that home, which a lot of Adams do, goes up $20,000, $30,000? So the investor with the 10% buyer's premium, remember, we call that the insurance policy for the investors. The investors are getting 3% plus the spread. So if that home on the site goes up to $350,000 and she has a contract in at 310, she just made $40,000 plus 3%, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so if we go ahead and it goes up on the site for 350, what is the buyer's agent going to write the contract for?
350,000. He's going to write the contract for 350,000, right?
No, that's what it went up to on the site. It went up to 350. What's the buyer's agent writing that up?
You add
The
the
three-
10% to it, so
Yep.
35,000 to it.
It'd make it 385, right?
Right.
Okay, yeah. Okay, right.
And you guys are making 3.5%, but remember you're paying a referral fee. That's why it comes out. And then the investor made the $40,000 spread plus the 3%. Honestly, the investor's going to end up making probably about $60,000. Pretty good deal, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, but the
Thank you.
investor also put 10,000 into it. And remember, we offer the homeowner 261 to 261 to 310. So that's, what is that? That's about $50,000, right?
Yeah.
So in theory, the seller made $50,000 more and the investor made $50,000 more. And that's what a novation is. It's where you end up being kind of a partnership agreement, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, are there any questions on novations?
Robert, is that the same as like the one they do a purchase agreement with the seller? Is that
Correct.
the same thing?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, for sure. Okay, so they'll do novation. So the investor made 50, the seller made more than 50 on this thing. So it's a win-win situation, right? So on this thing here, a lot of the investors are taught by their gurus to close the A to B and then B to C. Since we've disclosed all this, since we came in and did the work and we did exactly what we told us, do we need to do that?
No, you don't need the A, B, and C.
Okay, so the investor is saving also about $20,000, $30,000 in closing costs to not have to pay all those other things, just by being compliant, disclosed. Okay, so now let's say that there was not enough margin. Yeah, the homeowner owed, like in Bonnie's case. Bonnie, what did the homeowner owe on that property?
Yeah, it's 265.
Like, so he owed 265, and he also obviously needs to put like 40 grand into it.
Right.
He doesn't have the money to do that, and there's not enough margin to come in and do Well, that one there actually is to come in and do a novation if we could really sell it for 350 on case.
Yeah.
But everybody get the idea behind that is maybe instead of that being, and they had a novation contract. What was their contract at, Bonnie?
300,000.
300. Okay, and the home wasn't worth that. So,
No.
but if we can't work out a partnership agreement because there's not enough margin, or the seller said, yeah, I'd really like to make a little bit more, then we come in, and with the third choice is we do the investor, the 10% investor program. And in this case here, the same home. So here on the novation, we offer them 310. So now we're going to do 90% of the value, and we are going to be offering them 360. And then if we get one offer on the home, we're adding that $36,000 in a purchase sale, right? So that's going to put it like a $390,000 somewhere in there. So we still have enough room for a $10,000 spread on it. But, you know, if you get the homeowners to clean the home up, you get them to do the stuff that they say they're going to do, get the smells out, clean it up here. So now the investors made 3% of that. Plus, if it went to 400, it should be making a $10,000 spread on it too. Right?
Correct.
All right. So
Yes.
in this one here, we've got the 10% buyer's premium. So if the investor gets one offer at $360,000 times 3% is what?
3,600.
Let's see here, 360 times 3%. $10,800. All right. And believe it or not, most of our investors aren't even making $10,000 on their property. And now all of a sudden, so we had a home in that we gave a lead out in Thousand Oaks, Calabasas area, way out, off the 101.
Kardashian land, yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, and the lady had put a small fortune into the home. The home was beautiful. It didn't need any work. It didn't need, I don't want to do the investor thing on that. I'd rather just take that lead over. And we gave it to an agent. And the agent sent me over a note saying, here are the pictures. I don't think we can do an investment side of it. And when we sent her over the property, we said it's just going to be a traditional, easy real estate listing. What we do with the investors on that. So we don't have margin. So the last one that we're going to do is they are going to just give you the listing. And how much are we paying that investor back?
3%, right?
No, we're doing just a traditional listing now with a 6% buyer's premium. How much are we paying the investor back?
The 25% referral fee.
There you go. The 25% referral fee. Okay. So here's our same home. We're going to list it at $400,000 traditional, right? And then we're going to put it up for sale. And if we get one thing on it, one offer on that thing with 6% buyer's premium, the home will sell for the market value of what it is. The investor that we pay, so we're paying them, we make $4,000 off the easy platform. We're giving them 1% of that. And then we are giving them for the referral another $875 from you. That 25% we're collecting, that we're going to pay them for, that is going to come out of your 3.5% side. That'll end up going to them and not to us. So on the same thing, they're making $1,875 when there is nothing else, nowhere else that they can go. Zarina, are you still there?
I'm here.
Would you be happy with a property that's dead? You can't do a stinking thing with it, but yet, it needs to be sold and we know the seller. Would you be happy with $1,875 on a $400,000 home?
Yeah, because I know that
As a last resort?
yeah.
Instead of throwing it in the garbage, which most of our investor friends do.
Yep.
So that's what these programs do, you guys, in detail. All of these things with your investors, you want to have your ducks in a row. in reality, the investor should be giving you a sheet. And the mistake that we made is we believed the investors were validating their product. I don't know if it was one of you guys. We had another investor submit a property, didn't know there was a $200,000 lien against the property. So I'm going to go back to, are there any questions about the 4 programs that you can sell this home?
One question I have is, what's the difference between the Novation and the 90% third option that you shared?
You're not using a Novation contract. We're just taking a regular listing with using a 10% buyer's premium.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So, and that would be for, your people that even hate Novation contracts aren't going to do it. I mean, let's say the home that we secured in Mill Creek, she didn't like the Novation product, so she's losing $100,000 on the home. And I don't know about you guys, but I think her attorney gave her bad advice. And yeah, which is good. Which I guess it's good for us. I guess it's good for her because of what she wanted. But so those are the 4 different ways that we can sell. Are there any questions on that?
No, where can we get the slides that you're showing us, Robert?
When they're done and you come to the
they're not.
training.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
This is the turnkey program. That's part of it. Zarina, those slides, were they easy to understand for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good because some knucklehead designed them. That's me. So, and I don't use AI, by the way. I'm like the antichrist of AI. There's a time for it, and a time not for it.
But
All right, so
Robert, question, Erica, will you have a breakdown on some of the other slides that you have? So, because you kind of skipped some steps in there. I feel like it's when I took my tree
what
class.
steps did I skip?
I guess, I mean, I see the dollar amounts, right? You see the dollar amounts, but the steps in between to show how you arrived at those amounts or how the calculation was done, like.
Okay, so the fix and flip cash offer is 70% less repairs and fees. The Novation is 80% less repairs and fees. The 90%, the investor 10% thing is 90% of the price. So we're going to go over what Adam's group and he does right now. That might even explain it better for you, Erica. God, I'm sitting here yelling at the computer again.
I think you're saying everything except using the term after repaired value. That's what Erica is missing. 70% of the after repaired value is where they're getting their numbers from, Erica.
Well, actually, we're doing 70% of what. So remember that our house, it was worth $1,075,000 in as-is shape, correct?
Right.
So I'm not using after repair value for the 70% off of that. If you take that 850, that's exactly 70% of the 1,075,000. So that's as is.
70% of existing value, not after repaired value.
I don't think it is. That's exactly what we do.
Oh, okay.
You do that too, Zarina, right? When you're doing your cash offers?
Yes.
So we did this. I did this, Zarina, about a month and a half ago. I think we're going to have to keep doing reviews on it. But you guys keep in mind too, I want you, for all of you that want to be investors, we have turnkey systems for you as well. We've got all the forms. We got all these forms that you're seeing are going to be a part of this class. You're going to get a library of fillable PDFs. Okay. Or you can go ahead and keep doing it yourself and paying everybody else to do it, or you can let us do it for you and we're much more proficient at it. Right? Okay. So now I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you a worksheet that Adam works out. Jeff takes the intake form, then he turns it over to Adam and his team. And now they're doing what is the best thing for the seller to do. Okay. Does that make sense? We move on?
Yes.
Okay. Woohoo! Okay, so everybody can see this? All right, so this is the property address. So when Jeff gives Adam the property. Now it's moving into this form. And this form, this is a worksheet for whoever's doing the underwriting. Does everybody remember what underwriting? It's not an insurance term. It's not it's figuring out the price of the home and the program that's going to work the best for the seller, right?
Right.
Okay. All right. So he gets this. The first thing we do when we get that lead intake we know that the sellers are serious because they spent a half hour, 45 minutes with Jeff, right? So the second thing that we're doing is we're calling the agents and asking them for a CMA. I'm not asking you to go out to the property, right? Because we're in the middle of trying to validate everything ourselves. Because if I ask you to go out to the property, how much am I paying you?
$200.
$200. I prefer not to pay the $200, but if I have to, I will. So we are having you do a CMA. I'm getting a title report from a company, and then I've got another program that is helping with Zillow and their algorithm prices. All right. So all of this stuff comes to Adam while he's trying to figure out what's the best way to do it off of what the seller. And Adam will call the seller in the first 48 hours too and get the feel after he's got somewhat of a, well, let's use the one seller that had the $200,000 lien on it. Yeah, Mrs. Climer, did you know you had a $200,000 lien on your property? No, I did know. What's it for? Well, it looks like somebody came out and did some construction work for you, and oh, that was a contract did work for me a year ago, and they must not have released it, so I'll get it released. We can keep forging ahead and continue the questions and on it. Maybe we're doing the realist form that we send as well. And on that, it tells us how much they owe mortgage-wise. Well, it says here, you said the house is paid off, but the county tax records are showing you owe $500,000 on this. Okay, so every time we get a form in, we are validating everything of who the owner is, what the title work is, what the encumbrances are, what their taxes are, what the HOAs are. We're getting all the stuff validated as we're figuring out the best for them. All right. So are there any questions about that?
When we get the information from Adam, that will include the price that we should list the home at, right? We don't have to do any of
Adam will
those
be
calculations.
sending this out to you. If it's a novation, he'll be sending it out to you with the novation price,
Right.
the work that's going to be performed, the conditions, and the listing price that you should put it at with the conditions. What are the
Excellent.
conditions that a seller might have? Well, I don't want you to do an open house until Saturday the 17th instead of Saturday the 9th.
Exactly.
I don't want you to do, I've got 3 kids living in the home. So I need 24 hours notice. I have a tenant. The tenant is only going to let you in on certain times. So all of these things, these conditions will be passed down to you in this. And whatever that we've decided to do, if it's a cash offer, obviously we don't get you involved until we go to list it, right? We do all that stuff ourselves down there. So, but we are, for the investors, we are giving them what we would cash offer, what the conditions will be. So when she sends it over to her acquisition person, they have all the information that's validated. And remember, there's going to be times where we need you to go out and validate it because we don't trust the seller. Or maybe the seller's too old and can't give us the information for whatever reason. Adam's done thousands of these things. Well, I think he's 38. I don't know if he's done thousands, but he's done hundreds of them. And these are the things that he has done for 20 years doing this on there. So, and this will obviously have the date that the work's supposed to be done by. All the stuff is on here, right here. And for the investors, this is what work needs to be done. And we're going to give them, generic prices. We have a construction program that figures out what the prices are state to state. All right. Okay. And then the second thing is The seller chose which disposition. Disposition is fix and flip, which is cash offer, novation partnership, or it's just the investor 10%, or we're just going to take it and sell it traditional with the agent. There's no reason, like the lady that's out in Calabasas. The home is fairly brand new. She's got it priced right. She just wants it sold, but what she didn't want to pay, she didn't want to pay commission to an agent. So doesn't that work out kind of well with our agents?
Yes.
It's exactly why we're in business, right?
Yes.
So that's the stuff. And even if we don't fill out for the investors themselves, we aren't filling out but we would send this to them, and then they send this back to us with the contract, and they're going to give us the contractor's name and phone number, and when the work's going to be. Not that I want you to call the contractor, just so we have it. And the beauty of it is, if you have a buyer that has problems down the road, you can turn around and give them that number, right?
Exactly.
All right. So seller disposition as is value, after repair value. Does everybody, Erica, you understand the difference between that, right?
Yes, with time. I mean, I'm a hands-on, so I need to manipulate the figures with my
Yeah, well,
calculator
let me
and
make it
everything.
easy for you, because you were on last week's training, right, on Thursday.
Yes, last week. Yes, on
So
Thursday.
our as is value on that home was $1,075,000, right?
Correct.
We offered her 70. Well, actually, we're paying 70% less, which brought it to 850.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Then the after repair value on it. Do you remember what that was? It was collectively as a group, we figured out what that was.
Right, we did do that, and I don't recall what that figure was, but I know that we did. I don't know if it was like 50 or 100 or something like that in terms of
Janice, do you
repair.
recall what it was? What you guys had said the after repair value was on it?
1.3.
1.25 to 1.4, somewhere in the middle.
Okay, yeah, after the value of it
I
afterwards,
think
yeah,
we settled at
1.2.
1.35 is where we settled.
Yeah,
Okay,
I agree. And again, so when we list it on the platform, we're going to list it at 1.1, 1.2, because we want to get excitement going, right?
correct.
Exactly.
All right, we want to get more buyers in, correct?
Correct.
So we're doing all the things that we should be doing. So that's the way the program works. When you guys get the stuff from our company, from our leads, you will get this workup sheet with all the information and exactly what you're supposed to do. Now, and again, if we want you to go out and validate the process, that'll happen before the contract's ever done, right? Because we need your help in validating the information that the seller's giving us. All right. But the cool thing is, when everybody has the information, we do what's best for everybody, right? And everything is disclosed by everybody. So if we send you out the workup sheet and it says to do it traditional, and we're going to give you the listing price, but you're only using the 6%. I would use 7%. We always use 7. 1 going to the platform, 3.5 to you, 2.5 to and we make sure that we negotiate that price based on the CMAs and stuff that we get. But if you guys have to go out and get that listing, you're going to have to go out and explain the platform to her in detail. This becomes like your listing. The idea of this lady in Calabasas or wherever the heck that thing was, is that the agent didn't know what the program was. And even though when I sent it to her, it's like, go out and get a traditional easy listing with a 6 or 7% buyer's premium. And that was sent in the work detail sheet to her, and she still didn't understand. So she went out there, it's like she validated the property. And we had already validated the property. I didn't need her to do that. I didn't need her pictures. I didn't need nothing. I wanted her to go out and get the listing. And the only reason why she wants to use our company is why is that? Somebody tell me.
Want to pay commissions.
She didn't want to pay the commissions.
Commissions.
Yep. And if she's not going to pay the commissions, we do our magic, getting her lower it down in the MLS so we attract more buyers in there, right? Then we put it on our transparent site. More buyers means more offers means more money to you, Mrs. Seller. And you start talking about all the trainings that we have done with you guys on listing presentations. So is that that should be, and Kat's on the Kat, when will this video be posted?
I mean, almost always, within 24 hours. I try to have them up before 2 p.m. the next day.
Hey, Kat, can we notify everybody too that we didn't do that we did this? So apparently you were the 4 people that want to learn about the mail merge program. So Brett, you already know how to use it, right?
Yeah, it's been a while, but yeah.
Okay, so if you guys, I'll just do a special workshop for you guys. Katie, you know how to use it too, right?
Yeah.
All right. So Katie, did you understand our 4 ways of selling homes?
Yep. Yep.
All right. Processes make sense to you?
Yes, sir.
Does it make it easier being an investor, having that many choices to give?
Heck yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. You guys understand that's her job. That's what she does too, right? Bonnie, you're an investor. Does that make your life simpler as an investor?
Yes. Sure does.
Kenneth, you're an investor too, right?
Yes. It makes
So-
it simple to me. Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, so we will continue and keep getting better and better and better and better at this. Again, you guys can call me. You can call anybody on just call me on there and I'll be happy to explain this. If we're not driving to Seattle this week, I will have this program ready to go. And we still don't know if we are driving out this Monday or this Tuesday or next Tuesday. So I will have a special speaker on the Thursday for that. Okay.
Okay.
Any questions? Was that fruitful?
Yeah,
Yes,
that
sir.
was, yeah.
Very good.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a lot.
I appreciate all you guys. Sorry, I'm a little gruffy out of the gate. But anyways, remember, I loved you, all of you. I appreciate you. And
Robert, when were you talking to the investors boss? Today?
Yeah, at 3 or 4.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Just curious
Yeah.
to know what happens.
Yeah. So anyways, anyways, appreciate you guys. Thank you for showing up. And I will figure out a time and I'll offer you guys all maybe to do it individually with you or because it's not going to take that long to do it one-on-one. It's a lot easier to do. So anyway, I'll be in touch with you guys when I know what my schedule is. So if we're leaving this week, obviously it won't be this week, we'll be planted and I'll do it next week with you. I'll just do it one-on-one. And if I do have openings this week, I'll call each one of you one by one and go. That makes sense?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And Robert, I wanted to let you know the information that you're providing is not falling on deaf ears. It's just it takes a little bit of time to get the mindset in the right perspective.
Yeah, Erica, and I appreciate that. And when I am saying that, I'm not upset with you guys. What it tells me is we're still not doing things the right way. And maybe as collaboratively as a group, we want these things to be good for you guys because obviously it's our business, but we want the whole thing is we've got the answer to the disruption in real estate. And we're not done with the lawsuits yet. And we're not done. This way represents consumers and public better than anything else out there. And we are targeting now even just regular sellers, not just investor properties. So everybody has to understand when we talk about a traditional easy listing, there's no investor part of that in there. It's just like we gave you a seller of a property. when it's an investor, we know you need to know the investor stuff as well, and we'll just keep banging it. And Kat, get ready. We got to figure out a way to get this accessible. But I know one thing, Erica, all the stuff is all these. Kat spends a lot of time editing them and putting them into YouTube and up on the site. So I do know that the stuff's back there, but we got to, as a company, we got to figure out how to get the information. And it might be your dumb trainer, me. Maybe I'm not conveying the right things. So
No, I
anyway,
think that you're doing a good job conveying. It's just sometimes for myself, I can't speak for everybody. Sometimes it feels like I'm missing a step in there somewhere, and I just need to get by myself and work through it.
well, hopefully, that's why I asked you. Hopefully, I'm not skipping steps. It's, you guys, I know this like the back of my hand. It's what I do. And hopefully, I'm missing step. But what I am telling you, this is the real world stuff. Investors are just taught to go out and squeeze people and rip them off. And the other thing is too, 90% of the stuff never even made it to the site, or even the stuff that made it to the site shouldn't have been on the site because there were conditions. They ended up, when Bonnie, she had to go out there in that house. It's not worth to put it on the platform. It's not worth for her. And then you guys have an investment with that thing. And then all of a sudden I start feeling horrible. And that's exactly why we're coming up with this turnkey program with our investors. The investors that don't go through it, they're not going to be putting stuff on the site, period. I don't want the aggravation. It took us 2-3 months to learn of what they're doing. And now that we know what they're doing, we're going to help them fix it. And what it's going to do for you guys, it's going to make your lives much simpler. And the communication should be much simpler. We should be talking about all the listings and, and how many people came to my open house and how many leads I got out of it. So anyways, but we're close to having that thing done. When I had started with it, it was going to be 15 pages. I'm over 70 pages now. That's how much more content, because we're getting more refined. And well, yeah, I'll go through. I'll show you the pages, and then that'll be it. We'll go ahead and get off. All right, go back into the Easy Workshop. I'm going to go all the way up here. All right, trying to even do all lead generation for them, and doing it the right way. Do you guys want to list $30,000 homes?
Not if it can be avoided, but yeah, I do it. Yeah.
No, never.
We don't want to list $30,000 home unless they're going to pay you half the profit and you can make $5,000 or something off that one. I don't know, but no, we don't. And so these are the forms that we have built. So the first one is a problem and solution sheet for the investor. If this is sat on the market too long, and these are the things that Frank asked me to work on. So that's there. Then we have the training class here. This is the seller intake form. Then we have an investor checklist form. Then we have another communication checklist. Offer form, or the disposition form. Here's a purchase contract. Again, all fillable, right? Purchase contract again, attorney in fact. We got a seller's disclosure. Novation agreement. Then we go through this part of it. Then we go through the contracts again and explain the buyer's addendum to them. You guys should all know this stuff. All right. Then how it ties in with their stuff. We actually put them through it. This is what we teach our agents to do. And why do we do this? Because I don't want people sending you out to garbage and wasting your time or your money. And our investors, they'll pay us the $200 and we'll pay it to you for the properties. All right, that's going to be part of, that's why, why we want to do the turnkey, so that we control that. And we'll send you out when it's necessary. I'm not going to waste your time or the company's money. All right, then we go through the same thing with them and just show them, this is why you want to use our our turnkey program. Then we've got our partners. We got our MLOs. We got our transactional funds. We got our hard money funds. And I've got a lot more to add to this. I haven't filled them all yet, but I got 3 of each. Then we go through the website. All right. So we're giving all this information to them, trying to get them to give us the stuff so that we turn around and give them the good information where they don't need all that stuff. We should be telling them exactly what works out the best for the seller. But if you're going to do a fix and flip, expect to pay this much. If you're going to do a novation, expect to pay this much. If we're doing 10%, expect to offer this much. And then if we got to take it to the traditional, this is what the price has to be. But all that information will be given to you after the acquisition. The only thing we're not doing for the investors is the acquisition part, because I need them to meet and have a relationship with the sellers. And they will work with the seller to figure out what program is best for them. Once that's done, they turn around and give us back that plus the contract. They're the one that they did. We turn around and we call Kenneth. All right, here you go. Here's one in Los Angeles. They got a novation. Here's the contract price for the novation. And you go, here are the information, set up the seller to go take pictures. And if they're doing work, they'll say, go in 3 weeks. I'll let you know. But you'll be in communication with them. So you guys start figuring out a tracking system even for yourselves, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah.
there's going to be, I think this is just going to flood this company. And the best thing is we're doing the right thing for everybody in the community. There's nothing better that represents the community, right?
I agree.
All right.
I agree.
All right, you guys, you're a blessing. Thank you. So I'm running out of breath here. Talking too much, I guess. But anyways, we'll see you all on Thursday. And I will be in touch with each one of you on the mail merge program, either this week or next week. And if you don't hear from me this week, that means you'll have a guest speaker on Thursday.
All right. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Robert, for everything.
Have a safe trip, Robert.
You guys, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.